Have you ever had a seller say, I think my home is worth way more than what you recently gave me an evaluation of, and then been absolutely stooped and not known what to say, and then because you didn't handle these objections, you ended up missing out on that great listing because you did not know how to overcome these objections? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing the top 6 objections that you're going to get on every single listing appointment and how to overcome them. And if you're able to do this effectively, this can be the difference from you getting 5 listings to getting 20 in a year just with the amount of listing appointments that people go on. So you're going to want to tune in. Hey everyone, it's Russell Mortlock here, and if you're a real estate agent looking to elevate your game and wanting to learn how to get more listings, well, you're going to want to check out the Apex group. There's going to be a link in the description below. We have bi-weekly training in there that's going to teach you exactly the strategies that I've used and other top agents in the community are using in order to list more homes and get more sales. So the first one, and the golden question that we get every single time, is I think my home is worth more than what you think it is. And this is so funny. Me and my team, we literally joke about this every single listing presentation we go on. If I come across a client that thinks their home is less than what our evaluation is, I will be absolutely stupid because I'm yet to come across that. I'm sure there's some people that have seen that where they don't really know how much their home's worth. They could be completely disconnected with the market. But people tend to be pretty informed with what's going on, especially with the internet nowadays, and think their home is worth way more than what the market's going to give it. But here's how we handle that situation. This is where you got to build immense trust with your clients, and you've got to go over the data and the details and have really good scripting in terms of when you go over it and you flip it. The best way to do that is flipping it on it when they end up buying. And you say, hey, Mr. and Mr. Seller, so let's just talk about this when you go to buy a property. All the stats are pointing that your home is going to be worth 1.2 million that you're interested in. So that being said, if I show you all those stats and you want to go make an offer, are you going to be making an offer at 1.3 million, or are you going to be trying to get it underneath that 1.2 million so you can get a good deal and get some instant equity in what your home's going to be worth? I find this is the easiest way in order to overcome that objection, is flipping it to when they're going to be buying on the other side. It at least will make them sound a little bit more reasonable and understand where you're coming from. But this is an objection you're going to get every single time, and you just have to learn to overcome. Number 2, I want to try to sell my listing myself. There's Facebook, there's Kijiji, there's Craigslist. I think I can do it myself. And this is something that we do get some sellers say that they think they're going to be able to do it. And this is where I take a little bit more of a lighthearted approach when I deal with these clients. I know there's some agents that really stick it to them and just go hard after how little for sale by owners have success. But for me, I list off everything that we're going to do, and I mention, hey, like, is that something you want to take on all this stress and you want to handle all that? And you must be a crazy person, especially with your full-time job and all your kids, to be wanting to take on all that extra stress and hours that goes into this. But then I also flip it and I tell the story about how when I represented a buyer, I was able to negotiate $100,000 off a for sale by owner in 2 days of it being listed, where him saving $25,000 on the commission actually ended up costing another $100,000 on the purchase price because his home was priced accordingly. So that's my tips on how to handle that. Number 3, your commission is too high. So here's where I completely change how I normally operate and where I get very, very stern with clients, and I simply just get my big boy voice on, and when they say, ask me if I'll lower my commission, I just say, hey, no, I appreciate you asking that question, but that's something absolutely that we do not do and never will. Do you have any other questions? And I just flat out tell them no. There's no and ifs or buts about it. I don't go into any other spiels about I'm going to negotiate on you. If I don't negotiate my commission now, how do you feel? And blah, 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 blah. I just get as stern as possible, and no, that's not something that we do. And then ask them if there's any other questions, and then it lead to that. And I've had way more success being like that than just being, trying to have all these different scripts and different sales things on trying to convince them otherwise. Straight and to the point, no, we do not do that. We work our asses off as real estate agents. You earn every commission you get. Make sure you stand for that. Number 4, I have a family friend or family member that's in real estate that I'm going to use. When I get this one here, I always tell the story about how we helped a family downsize their property that had used a family friend for 4 years trying to sell their home, and they had missed out on property after property, and this guy was literally taking advantage of them because they're a family friend and wasn't really working for them. And then we ended up selling it for $25,000 what the previous agent had it listed for in a better market. And I just explain all those scenarios to them and find a way to skin it. I also talk about how you do have to share a lot of private information. You might not be comfortable totally doing that with a family member or a friend, you know? So, but at the end of the day, this is a really hard one to overcome. And me personally, I hope all my friends and family members use me as their real estate agent. So I do really respect when people do honor that. But there is ways to overcome it, and we have done that before. That is the main way how I overcome that objection. The next one, I've already tried selling it and it didn't work. So here's where if expectations weren't quite met right off the hop and overpricing and a whole bunch of different things happened, and hopefully it was listed by another agent, so then you can go through their whole marketing game plan, their whole listing, and point out things on how you're going to execute better. But if it's you personally that had it listed, this is going to be a little bit tougher because there's going to be a little bit of loss of trust there with not meeting expectations and not quite fulfilling on getting their home sold. So to overcome that, you just really need to educate your clients on what happened during that time. I'm sure we've all been in that market where we're in right now. We have a listing, and I talked to other agents, and even our listings, they've been live for 2 weeks and we got no showings, and they're not overpriced. But then I reach out to other agents and I talk to them about how their listings are doing, and they're facing a similar fate. You just have to be brutally honest with your clients when things don't work out. Don't beat about around the bush. Don't try to blame or do all this to say, hey, during this time, this is what we experienced in the market. All of a sudden, inventory went up to an extreme buyer's market. We saw the number of showings going down by 80%, and give them the facts so that they understand what it is. But the next thing going into it, if you're trying to get them to relist and the market hasn't improved, do not bullshit them about the market improving, because then if you go down again and don't meet expectations, it's just going to be a trickle down where you end up losing this really nice listing that potentially is going to sell in the future. It just not be the right time. But at the end of the day, in real estate, everything has a price. So if your clients really do need to sell this home, it will come down to price and then your skills on how you execute it. And if you're someone that's getting a lot of value from my videos, hit that subscribe button so you can stay in tune with all the training that I'm providing here on my YouTube channel. But if you want to take it a step further and you want to get personally mentored by me into growing your real estate business, in the description below is going to be a link to my calendar. Book a call with me and we can go over exactly how we can help you reach your goals as a real estate agent.